Todd Gurley again, but we have an update. We have more information that Todd Gurley, according to Jay Glazer from ESPN, that Todd Gurley's knee, surprise, surprise, is a bigger concern than the Rams have been letting on, or possibly could be a bigger concern. Now, there's still a lot of speculation laced into this news. There's no confirmation from Gurley or the Rams on this. It's merely Jay Glazer answering a mailbag question from people. So, you guys got questions, post them. I'll be talking with you guys live throughout this entire stream. Now, honestly, what's up, Michael? You're always first, buddy. It's, I know I talk about this topic a lot and I beat it like a dead horse, but the reason I do that is because the ADP data isn't changing. Todd Gurley is still, maybe not after today, I doubt today does too much, but Todd Gurley is probably still going to be a top 15 overall pick according to the consensus fantasy football world out there. Now, if you're a Sleeper U and a The Fantasy Football Show member, follower, subscriber, you know better than to draft Todd Gurley in your top 15. You know better than to draft Todd Gurley in your top 25. We have a mock draft we did yesterday. Let me split screen this here and show you guys the board here. This is the mock we did yesterday. And I'll refer and reference back to that throughout the show. But Gurley fell all the way to the third round in this mock draft. And with me prefacing, giving a caveat, what's going on, James? What's going on, Poke? That I'd only do this if I reached for Henderson. And even today with this news, I mean, I've already accounted for the news today that the Rams are letting on that this is... so that's why you see him in the third round. That's why I get so much hate mail on this topic, because I've been valuing him as if this news was already out. Like an onion, the layers will keep getting peeled back. Todd Gurley, I have nothing against the guy. He was in my bold predictions list years past. I've owned him in a ton of leagues. This is nothing personal for me. Everyone that doesn't like this information, the traditional people that have their mindset that if you're amazing, you need to always be amazing, and they're sentimental about Todd Gurley. All of the arguments that Todd Gurley's been the best player in the last 4 years, you're going to rank him in the third round? Are you crazy? All of that talk is sentimental. And I'm trying to remove the personal from this and let you know that this knee injury, the same knee that he had ACL surgery in and has had a long history of problems with, has degenerative arthritis in it, which means it will not get better. For those that think he can heal up, you can't. There's stem cell therapy and things that he could do that he doesn't have time to do in order to get ready for 2019. And even if that worked, he will be older. He will be entering his 6th full season by the time as a workhorse. By the time that could even do anything, if it even did help him, he's done. The Todd Gurley that we all knew and came to love, including myself, I'm not a Todd Gurley hater. I'm a hater against the value in ADP. That Gurley that we knew is gone. He will never return. And anybody holding on to it probably already owns him, so I understand. I'm not mad at you. I'm merely trying to tell you Darrell Henderson is an emergency must-have for you. If your rookie draft hasn't come up yet, you better be damn sure you figure out a way to trade up and get him. He's not going to go at his current ADP. Henderson's current rookie only draft ADP is like at 7 to like 12. He's going to be a top 4 overall rookie once the onion continues to get peeled back. Something I've said since January. We're going to find out more and more and more and more and more and more and more. Every time news breaks, we will find out his value will drop and we'll see Henderson move up draft boards. I want Henderson to stay low-key all summer. He won't, Michael. I am sorry to say. James, here's how I view Gurley. He will be a top 8 running back statistically, but may not be around for the end of the season. Well, that's kind of the big point, James, that even if they rant, okay, here are your scenarios. And I hate when people write that there's 5 different scenarios and they give you every single option. Like, okay, he could either be a stud, He'll either be okay and he'll either be hurt and not play week 1 and surprise everybody. Like, I'm not going to give you all those. That's a ridiculous way to analyze it. And there's a lot of people analyzing that way, so they're safe on all angles and covered on all fronts. To me, there are only 2 ways this plays out. Gurley either isn't ready at all for week 1, and everybody's shocked as hell, unless you follow the Fantasy Football Show and Sleeper U. Let me get back to full screen here. You're either shocked as hell, unless you follow us, and Gurley isn't ready for week 1, or he's ready for week 1 kind of in terms of going out there, and he doesn't hold up. His knee is... That arthritis is not going to get better. You can only try and curb and maintain where you're at. And the bottom line is, with the abuse you take as a running back in the NFL, he's not going to escape injury, taking hit after hit, getting hit by 300-pound linemen, driving him into the ground. It's so different for a running back. Once your knee is that bad off, and he's been limping around in videos, like a month ago, and recently, as much as about a month ago, said that he doesn't know where he'll be in 6 months, referring to the season. All that points to the fact that he is far, far, far from being healthy and ready to go in 2019. So people assuming he's ready for week 1, that mentality of, until I hear concrete evidence, I'm not bumping him down in my rankings at all. That's a reckless way to look at it. The safer approach is to assume he won't play, rank him in places where you're making him someone else's problem, because you're going to let someone else take him well before you're ever faced with the situation of drafting him, taking much safer players. And if he fell to a crazy value, he falls. Thanks for the thumbs up. Keep hitting that thumbs up, guys. It does help the show, drives us into more people's vision as YouTube serves us up to more people. Please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe. What's going on, Larry? If Gurley isn't ready for week 1, Henderson's ADP jumps 10 rounds. If Henderson's the starter for week 1, and there's clear evidence for that, which isn't out yet, I've been preaching this for freaking months. If Henderson is the starter, he will go as high as any of the other rookies, and you see Jacobs and Montgomery breaching the 3rd round. So to go from a double-digit handcuff, don't worry about him type player to a 3rd rounder, it'll be the biggest rags to riches story in a long time in terms of off-season value changing. And it sucks for the people that are riding this train with me, talking about it early, and then your drafts come after the news breaks. So hopefully for everybody that's on board of the Darrell Henderson train, this doesn't faze anybody. Because you know what I've learned over the last 4 or 5 months as I've campaigned against drafting Gurley anywhere near the top 25, top 30 overall? What I've learned, what's up, King, is that people don't care if they're a fan of Todd Gurley. You could give them the worst news in the world, and their response is this sentimental, and I understand it. I'm not ripping really on anybody, but saying that it's a reckless way to approach your fantasy team. You can do what you want, but people's response is so sentimentally driven, like, he's been the best running back in 4 years. Until I see concrete information, I'm not moving him down. The concrete information is that the guy's limping around town, says he doesn't know where he'll be in 6 months. We have never seen him rebound or return to form. The Todd Gurley we knew is gone. Gone. And the safer play for anybody even on the fence on this is to take a safer player at the place that you're probably thinking of taking Todd Gurley. Go get Darrell Henderson anyways, and have yourself a potential 2-stud combo by mid-season, if not by week 1, by the time all this stuff keeps unfolding. What's up, Cole? Larry's in the house. Drag some of these comments on here. Do you see Hyde having a bounce back year? Not too into the drafting Hyde on any of my teams. Could he be okay? Sure. This is a weekly game. Gurley will undoubtedly lead the running backs in fantasy scoring for multiple weeks, but don't expect him to be available in your playoffs. James, I'm not saying you're wrong on that. You could be right, but I honestly don't think he'll be healthy enough to even lead the top 8 running backs in fantasy football. Could he have 1 game maybe, or 2 games? Maybe. but I don't see him being able to handle even close to a full workload. I don't. And I think that they're going to play it safe with him. I don't think they're going to throw him out there hurt. You might see one of those, Todd Gurley's going to seek a second opinion news pieces break here in the next month or so, and that's always a horrible sign that more bad news will unfold. But James, I'm thinking, James, be honest, okay? Just be completely honest. Do you own Todd Gurley in Dynasty? And do you have shares of him right now? Just be completely honest, because my guess is you do. And it's really hard. What's up, Michael? I appreciate you pimping and giving props to the show. Because, James, one of the best ways to, I think, get better at fantasy football, and I'm not suggesting anything bad about your game, is to be able to objectively look at it. And my guess is that anybody on board with Todd Gurley being elite at all, even for strings of games, owns him. And I get that bias. Man, I struggle with that myself. We all did. We all do. And being able to separate, you're not a Gurley owner anywhere. Okay, well, man, James, I don't know. If you do go down the route of taking Todd Gurley, you better be damn sure you handcuff him to Hendy. If you're drafting today, it wouldn't be that hard. You'd want to reach a good round or two before given this buzz could affect some people. But you definitely don't want to own just Todd Gurley. You kind of mentioned that in your comments, so it's smart. You're thinking right. I just think expecting elite numbers at all is probably not the best approach. But, man, anything can happen, James. Trust your gut. Just make sure you at least draft Todd Gurley. Darrell Henderson. Okay, yeah, if he dropped to the third round, trade potential alone is something to consider. But I think that as news unfolds, he'll get pushed further and further back on my already different approach to Todd Gurley. So my third round, he would become fourth. As stuff unfolds. Right now, I don't touch Todd Gurley in my top 2 picks. I don't even come close to it. I don't even consider it. And I've been taking heat for that for a long time. I think something that's going to lessen up. Joe, I appreciate it. Joe says, love the show, brother. Keep it up. James, you said if Gurley isn't ready for week 1, I already read that, then the ADP of Henderson jumps. That is 100% how I feel. And I think we're going to see Hendy's value. You're going to see everybody talking about Hendy as a sleeper, something we've been talking about forever. Look at the fireplace video that I did on Gurley getting his Christmas stolen from Darrell Henderson. Okay, let's see what James, you got another comment here. My struggle right now with ADP versus potential upside. If Gurley is even 75%, he's going to destroy his ADP. I don't think so because people aren't dropping him, though, James. So he's still going to be, right now, a top 15 pick. He can't destroy his ADP from that range. But I appreciate your stance on it, and differing opinions do rock. So keep bringing it, James. I'm glad you're here, buddy. I would take Gurley in the second all day, but you best believe I'm cuffing Henderson to him in redraft. Understandable franchise, and a lot of people feel that way. I myself would rather have a Dalvin Cook in a heartbeat, something that I got destroyed for a month or two ago. Destroyed for. I think a Reddit post I got blasted by 150 downvotes talking about Cook over Gurley. I'd take Cook in a heartbeat over Gurley. I would then, I would now. And I'm going to be the guy that owns Darrell Henderson and Cook and avoid drafting Todd Gurley in the second round. I won't touch him there. But, hey, franchise, I appreciate your take. I'm a little bit more passionate about this topic than a lot of them. So, you may not see it exactly the way I do, but my job is to scream it as loud as I can. And if you guys take in the information you want, you guys have awesome knowledge. I respect every one of you. You guys, that's why I want you in my followers versus followers league, where you guys, the followers, draft my team, and I go to battle with that team against 11 other expert pages on Instagram, a league I created, and you guys draft my team. Make sure you check that out. Follow me on Instagram. It's at the top left of the screen here at the Fantasy Football Show, the same handle as my YouTube channel. Michael, Joe, James, franchise, get on over there. Cole, I need you guys to help draft my team because you are the ones in charge. I come to you with hard waiver wire choices trades that come, to my doorstep or the ones we sent out, big lineup decisions, you guys control the team and we battle it out in our community because you guys are so awesome and full of knowledge. I think way ahead of the curve because we gather together with that like-mindedness of being ahead of the curve. We're going to destroy this league, and I have faith in you guys. So please come over to Instagram at the Fantasy Football Show, and then let's get it going. James says, I love Cook this season. I took Cook over Chubb, maybe over Mixon. You would take him over Chubb, maybe over Mixon. I love Cook as well. I also like Chubb a lot. I don't like Mixon as much as most because some people will draft him in the first round. I myself think Mixon is a potential bust at that value. I would take Mixon in the second round because I think the risk is minimized a lot if you let him drop into your second drafted player range. But Mixon's on my stay away list from first round type value. Chubb, if handcuffed to Kareem Hunt, is a top 10 running back. Without it, I don't touch Chubb until the third, which I won't get him, and I'm fine with that. But if I have Kareem Hunt or a plan where I'm going to cuff Kareem Hunt at almost any expense I've got to take, then Nick Chubb for me becomes a top 14 overall pick with ease. But you have to have the handcuff. If you don't, I'm not in. Fournette is an avoid for me as well, James. Great minds think alike, buddy. Larry, you lost the feed for a minute. Are we drafting already? Not yet in that league, but we will. So follow me at the Fantasy Football Show on Instagram. You guys draft my team. Don't let me down. I know it, and I have faith in you guys. I know you have the knowledge, and let's get after it. Let's talk any busts and sleepers aside from Gurley. We touched on Gurley. Henderson to me is a top 5 to 10 running back per start in 2019. I think he will start games. It's not a matter of if, it's when. It could be week 1. It could be week 10. It could be week 5. But even if it's not week 1 and Todd Gurley is going to play in 2019 and news breaks that he's going to run out onto the field in week 1 at a limited workload, it won't be anything more than limited workload. That I can feel really confident in saying. Henderson's going to get slowly introduced and show his breakaway ability because Henderson had more 40 and 20-yard runs than any college running back in the nation last year by a lot. He had 25 total touchdowns, Darrell Henderson did, 22 on the ground, 1,900 plus rushing yards. He is a beast in the making, built perfectly in that Alvin Kamara type frame. And he's getting inserted into one of the best offenses for a running back to thrive. See little 8-man fronts given the wide receivers and depth that team has on offense, spreading it out all over the place. Hard to contain. The fact that defenses won't be really looking to key on a rookie running back, even if he has 1 or 2 big games. It's funny how defenses take a long time to catch up to key on somebody. So Henderson's going to have it made all year. Henderson is going to blow up in 2019. I'm going to own him in almost every league I'm in. I wish I could draft a lot for a lot of these drafts before all this crap breaks and unfolds, but it's still exciting to have it unfold and have all of you that have invested early enough in Henderson to benefit, and I can't wait. Okay. So, Amari Cooper King wants to talk about, is he a boom or a bust? What do you guys think on that? Amari Cooper, to me, has a lot of upside, but still a lot of risk if you're drafting him anywhere near like top 30 overall value. I think he has upside at that value. I think he still has a lot of risk. So, third round is about right for him. It's not either a home run type selection or a huge risky one. What are your guys' take on that? Any other Marlon Mack? James wants to toss out 2 bust running back. You're considering Henry and Marlon Mack. I think ADP on Henry is in the 3rd round right now. That feels about right. Kind of another one of those. There's a lot of risk, a lot of upside. Kind of a good place to draft him. I don't think you're hitting. You could be hitting a home run, I think, from that value because he does have top 5 to 10 running back upside. But I think he runs aggressively, has a lot of injury risk, some injury history paired with that. So I think that he will miss games. So third round still feels about right. I wouldn't be comfortable making Henry my second drafted player. As for Marlon Mack, depending on where he goes, I've seen him go really high and I'm seeing him go at a really reasonable value. If he's a fourth or fifth rounder, I think he has good appeal. I wouldn't call him a huge bust candidate there, but I'm not drafting him in the third round. I would consider him a bust candidate in the third round. Daniel, what's going on? Please hit that thumbs up, guys. I appreciate it. Tevin Coleman is going to have a huge year, says Daniel. Daniel, I think there's a possibility he does. I wouldn't call him a bust. He's not a bust candidate for me at all. But I think that's because his ADP isn't all that high. If he climbed into a crazy running back 2 type ADP, I would be calling potential bust because I don't know. He's had time to prove himself. He did have good yards per carry. I talked about this on another show with another analyst, and he had shockingly high good yards per carry. Wasn't used a ton when he had his chance with Freeman going down. So there's opportunity there. I do like him. He is an injury risk to me. So at the value, I have no problem with Coleman. But if he climbed high, I would. What's up, Whooped? Henderson, a bust? You're a Todd Gurley owner, aren't you? Aren't you, Whooped? But I'm still glad to have you here, man. Keep bringing it. Anybody else have Larry's got one. Jordan Howard is a bust. Yeah, I think so. And I don't know that he's getting drafted super high, so I don't think he's a huge risk of burning a lot of people because I don't think people are going to take him all that high. Hey, guys, we have like 25, 30 people constantly in the room. 8 thumbs up. Please hit that thumbs up button. It helps serve content to more people. It lets YouTube know, hey, this show that's live right now is hopping. Let's get it out to more people. More interaction, more involvement means a much better chat here, more better content for you. If I've got people asking 10 questions, then you're not going to get as much awesome content in this video. So spread that word, hit that thumbs up. It does a lot for me. Aaron Jones, a huge bust, says Caribbean Kid. I don't know, Caribbean. I think he has bust potential the higher he gets drafted, and then as he gets lower, I think the risk is kind of warranted. But I'm with you if he's having to be selected really high. Caribbean Kid, I'm not sure if you remember, but in like January, he was like a late second round pick in early mock draft data. And then the Packers came out with, hey, we're going to maybe use a running back by committee type situation in 2019. And then Caribbean Kid, if you remember, Aaron Jones' ADP plummeted into the 4th round. I like the 4th round. And let me pull up this mock draft here. Let me get rid of some of these comments that are in the way. This is a mock draft we did yesterday. I'm not sure if you can see that very clearly. But that right there shows, Aaron Jones not even breaching that 3rd round. So that's where I consider him kind of a good potential value grab. Put the comment in question right there below the draft board so we can talk about it. So, do you guys think that Aaron Jones is a bust at that like 4.01 spot? Honestly, you got Jacobs, Kerryon Johnson, Fournette, a lot of questionable characters in that 4th round. I think Aaron Jones fits in there pretty nicely. If you're talking top of the 3rd, I'd rather have a Kittle, a Mahomes. I'd rather have, And if you look at this draft, make sure you understand how it's going. It's going down from Kamara, Elliott, Barkley, all the way down to Evans, then curves up. Juju Smith-Schuster at the bottom of that middle column is the 2nd round, going upward to David Montgomery, then over to Mahomes, and then back down to Keenan Allen. So some people look at that board and they think that the top where David Montgomery is the first pick in the 2nd. That's the last pick in the 2nd because it's a snake. So make sure you know that when you're looking at that. Haven't taken Godwin once in a mock draft. Actually, let me go over to the draft board here and really talk about these guys. Okay. So the players that I think using this mock, and again, the mock draft goes like this. Back up and then down. the guys to me that stand out the most that have the biggest sleeper value. If you're talking in the first round, yes, there are people, you don't have to call them sleepers. People get all bent out of shape when you use a term like that they've been using for 10, 15 years and say, oh, a first rounder is a sleeper. Value grab, whatever you want. The guys that have the most value, Le'Veon Bell. Because if you drafted him in this bottom of the first or top of the second, because the draft goes like this, snake style, you're talking about a guy that is capable of scoring at the tail end of that big four running back combo. So when you get him here, where I think if he disappointed, had a slow start, you're still going to get that value. And I like that. I think DJ has that kind of upside there. So when we go down here, Juju could score, even though this is high for Juju, he could still score with the guys like Adams and Mike Thomas. So Juju actually has a little bit of that. Dalvin Cook, I think you can get later in the second round, but he has top 5 to 8 overall value. And if you disagree with that, think back last year before, yes, he got hurt. There's injury risk, but that's built into his second round value. If he was going in the top 5 to 7, then he would be a huge risk, but he's dropped into that awesome range. Dalvin Cook has the ability to be top 5. He was drafted at that value last year. So, factoring in the injury risk, this is fitting. Odell, this is the bottom of the second. Odell could climb up and be this good in 2019. He has some potential. Chubb, if paired with Hunt, could be as good as anybody in this range right here in the 6 to 10 overall range. Antonio Brown, how are people still doubting Antonio Brown at second round value? I get it. Derek Carr isn't the best quarterback ever, but he could get the ball. He's efficient enough. He had enough upside at one point that he can get the ball to AB. AB's going to be just fine there and get a ton of targets. And AB looks great right now. There's footage of him just looking dominant as ever, able to separate, just a pure beast. He's working so hard this offseason. AB can easily finish as high as Adams or Mike Thomas, but you're paying for him at second round value that has that risk built in. Mixon's a good value here, but I think I'm ranking him in my mock draft here a lot lower than he'll probably go. So Mixon will probably be, in my opinion, someone else's problem because someone might take him at 10, 11, 12. And I'm not willing to pay that price. Damian Williams, I hope falls, so this is the bottom of the second, coming around the turn here. I hope falls into the top of the third. Damian Williams has, if we want to finally get into what I would call sleeper value, not so much the value grab guys, Damian Williams could explode from that. Let me check the comments, make sure I'm not missing some stuff here. Kerryon Johnson will outperform. I like Kerryon a lot, Michael, if that's who you're talking about, Kerryon Johnson. Who drafts vertically, do it horizontal? Well, Poke, I gotta show it in the camera here on the split screen. I could do it. We were doing it earlier and it wasn't fitting all the way. So in order to show it, and that's the way some used to do it. So I get you. Next time I'll try and do it horizontal for you, we can even maybe do that here in a bit. Montgomery equals rookie of the year, says Cadden. And you draft Aaron Jones, Cuff. Haven't taken Godwin. Michael Thomas, top 3 wide receiver, says King. Hard to argue that, King. What round would you start to look at David Montgomery? Well, Joe, do you see where I have him here? I have him at the bottom of the second round. I'm not saying you have to take him there, but in this mock, I proved a point that even in redraft, the guy has that kind of ability, and I have no problem taking him there. A running back in Kansas City offense will thrive. I agree with you. Let me see if I can, while you guys are there, I can go ahead and redo this mock, I think, right here. So if we're to go Kamara, it might be hard to, I'll do it next time. We'll go vertical next time. I know a lot of people are used to that. The reason I did that again is for space and to show it all in one shot, because when we did the mock, we had about that much room. I had about that much room to show it on the split screen. So now it's looking a little different. So I appreciate the thoughts. It also leaves room for comments and stuff like that, but it has bothered some people more than it should have, I thought. So I'm definitely going to change it for next time so you guys can have it better. So where were we at? Damian Williams. Connor is one of the biggest bust candidates in 2019. More news broke today about them running a committee in Pittsburgh in 2019. I draft Connor at some point. I draft Gurley at some point. I'm the biggest bust candidate promoters of Connor and Gurley you'll find in fantasy football. And if you don't believe me, and it's funny because I get hit by both sides right now, because right now he's in the middle. People are in the middle of either believing in him or hating on him. And I'll get people to say, you're not bold. You think you're bold to call Todd Gurley a bust? Everybody knows that. And then the next moment I get hit by 4 or 5 people that are like, you're an idiot. He's a top 5 running back. So it's funny. It's funny when each side doesn't know that I'm getting hit in an extreme fashion from the other side. And it's laughable when someone says that it's not bold. I've been saying it since January. Connor, I've been talking about the same thing. Is there a line in the sand where I draft both? That's probably the most common question I get from people, and the answer is yes. There's always a line in the sand where you draft both. If you handcuff Gurley to Henderson and you get Gurley in a 3rd or 4th drafted player scenario, your risk is very low because the options there are no longer those ones where you say, hey, I can have a Mike Thomas instead of Gurley and still take Darrell Henderson. But when you get to a range here, then it starts to make more sense. But even if more news unfolds about Todd Gurley, and I have him lower than I think you'll find anybody, if more news unfolds and that onion gets peeled back, you're going to see him fall into a place where like people are going to call me absolutely asinine, insane, crazy, which they already are. But Connor has 7 to 12 overall value, which is bust potential for me. And I can't stress enough that you're better off taking one of these guys and then take, if you have a deep roster and can pull this off and have a running back stable of guys in waiting, Samuels and Benny Snell together, draft those guys and steal them away from this Connor owner so he can't do it. Draft a safer player, you have the best of both worlds. But at some point, you do take Connor. At the end of the 2nd round, I do take him. I probably will never get him that late, but showing you where I value him, especially if you can realize you'll cuff him. Freeman, Montgomery probably will go in the 3rd round here on the turn, but I'm just letting people know I'm okay paying that. I'm okay paying 3rd round value for Pat Mahomes, and I've talked about that over and over. Other sleepers in this group and potential bust candidates, I think Keenan Allen always worries me. I think we had Aaron Jones, we had Kerryon Johnson, I think, has top 10 running back upside if given the carries and touches. Diggs has a lot of appeal. Diggs could be a great 4th round pick. Calvin Ridley has monster appeal as a 5th rounder, 6th rounder in some very inexperienced leagues with people that aren't as in the know. Calvin Ridley in 1 year from today, we'll be talking about him being this year's version of Juju Smith-Schuster, coming out of his shell and becoming that elite stud for the future. I love Calvin Ridley. He reminds me so much of Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a monster sleeper of mine. So Snell down the way you want to get. We're talking sleepers right now. If we're talking redraft here, but if we're talking dynasty, we can talk whatever we want. Deebo Samuel is going to be a monster in the future. N'Keal Harry's got top 5 wide receiver upside for the future, no question about it. We're digging into dynasty. We're digging into everything right now. Bust potential, Chris Carson. I am not a big fan of Chris Carson in 2019. Penny's there, injury history, disappointing me in the past. Toss out whatever you want. Call it a mixture of gut instinct as well. But I'm staying far away from Carson at anywhere near 3rd round value or end of the 3rd round. I'd toss him in a range where I probably won't get him. Just looking at the comments. Looks like a committee in Pittsburgh. That's what I've been saying for a while there, buddy. Samuels is good. Samuels is a better wide receiver than Connor. A lot of people that love Connor and sentimental to Connor are going to say that that's crap. I know Connor was extremely productive. It's the situation, though, that more than anything. And I think that if you put Bell in that offense last year, in that specific time when Connor was going nuts, Bell would have done probably more. Samuels is a better wide receiver. The running backs coach in Pittsburgh right now that they hired for 2019, Coach Samuels in college at NC State, so there's some rapport there. we're going to see Samuels all over the field in 2019. Just reading some comments here. Okay, well, I'll sit back down over here anyways. Yeah, the audio, I'm going to get a mic set up over there because I'm going to do a lot more board stuff. I have a marker board as well in the studio here, so a lot of reasons to have a camera and mic over there. So any other bust stuff you want to talk about, sleepers, breakouts, hit me with it. I got a lot of people right now on the clock in some dynasty leagues asking questions via sleeperu.com. I have the you could point to it right there too. Sleeperu.com. I have the Ask Smitty feature where you can email me, ask me questions when you're on the clock, talk about anything. So if you don't have a subscription over at sleeperu.com, make sure you get it. It's a pretty awesome feature. So I have some people on the clock right now I've been talking with all day long about who they should pick. One guy's getting N'Keal Harry late in his draft in a dynasty startup. I'm telling him to grab Darrell Henderson at pretty much any cost, as soon as he gets on the clock here in a little bit. It's awesome, man. I love helping you guys with your draft. Let me see if I can change my stream. I look like someone was saying the audio was cutting in and out. DJ Moore, good upside, says Larry. I agree. I agree with that. News on Carson having knee procedure. There you go. Looks like a committee in Pittsburgh. A couple of you are saying that. Why no talking about Kyler Murray? Let's talk about him, Caribbean kid. All you got to do is bring it up. I've talked a lot about Kyler Murray, actually. So check out a lot of my older content. But Kyler Murray is going to be a force in the NFL. And you're looking at top 6 to 10 running back numbers, maybe, or quarterback numbers, maybe running back numbers. Looking at top 6 to 10, definitely top 6 to 12 QB numbers, even as a rookie. I think Kyler Murray is going to be a machine in that Kingsbury offense that's going to be so spread out and efficient, help him make very little mistakes because he is a rookie. What a way to set up somebody for success than to plug them into this offense with that skill set, spread out, double, or they'll have 2 slot wide receivers a lot of time, which just spreads things out so much and makes DJ probably bounce back into a top 5 to 7 running back with ease. And DJ, if he stays healthy, that is, will be so efficient in these open wide lanes and spread out attack. Love me some Kyler Murray in 2019 and beyond. You're doing a good job. You're killing it. Thank you, King. I appreciate the compliment. You guys are the ones doing this, man. I can't thank you enough for spreading the word, for getting in here. We have 30 to 40 people constantly in a live stream. I remember when I started, we had like 5. For those of you that haven't been with me the whole 4 going on 5 months, I've only been doing this for 5 months. We're at literally almost 1,100 subscribers. Just got the authorization to have the ads on the account. You have to have over 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in 12 months. We have all that in 4 months. And it's because you guys spreading the word, absorbing the content, interacting with it, commenting, and thumb-upping. Make sure you give this a thumb up. We have 30 people currently in the room and only have 16 thumbs up. So if everybody could just do their part, you see a video come through, hit the thumbs up. If you're in here now and I'm helping you at all, it does me a huge solid to hit that thumbs up. It makes people know that this is a good video to watch, makes YouTube serve it to more people. What's going on, the Fantasy Troll? Thank you for the thumbs up. I just saw some more come in. It really helps me. Thank you. Audio sounds good. YP, okay, thank you. Yeah, I had this mic far away. I should have moved it over when I went over there. I didn't really expect to go to the board on this video because I did all that yesterday. But we'll do a different mock next time. We'll go horizontal. I know that a lot of people struggle. I'm kind of a dinosaur in a way in this business. I've been doing this 15 years. I did mostly radio and the content. I do content at sleeperu.com. Make sure you go over to sleeperu.com if you guys want. For $29, you get everything: rankings, drag and drop stuff, mock draft tool, draft simulator, trade calculators, and then advice from me all year long through an email feature. And I've been doing it. I'm like a dinosaur in this industry. 15 years. Been on the radio show for 15 years on CBS Sports Radio in Arizona here. And man, just launching the video show in this less than 5-month period, it's been just the wildest ride. And we've gotten so big so quick. And the response is amazing. And you guys are so freaking interactive. And I want to emphasize again that I need you guys to draft my team. All of you, my followers, draft my expert team in the league that I started on Instagram that's making waves on Instagram. People are talking about this crap on Instagram like you can't believe. People have done expert leagues before. That's no new thing. But you guys watch us battle it out. Kind of cool, kind of boring. This league I decided to launch with some of the biggest Instagram channels on Instagram in fantasy football. Ones with over 100,000 followers. I asked Matthew Berry, who politely declined, and then followed me on Instagram today, which I was very hyped about. Matthew Berry is a legend, whether you disagree with this stuff or not. He gave me a follow today and politely declined the league. But we've got some of the biggest fantasy football Instagram accounts in this league, and I've organized it so that you, the followers, draft our teams, and then we go to battle with them, not only during the year do we play it out. You help us decide what trades to make, who to start. It's my following versus all 11 other expert followings. So you guys got to make me look good, and I go to war with your team. It's going to be awesome. My Instagram is the same one right here, guys. This right here is my Instagram handle, and I'll have it linked in the video once I finish the video, complete it. Put the image on it, put the graphic on it. Right after I get off, I do that. So you'll see that in there. But definitely make sure you follow at The Fantasy Football Show on Instagram. It's also the same handle that I have for YouTube, so it's pretty easy. I can't wait. I mean, to have you guys draft my team, it's going to be awesome. Let me put this right here. Any sleepers you can suggest for Dynasty rookie draft that aren't being... Let me put this comment over here. Aren't being drafted. Not drafted. That's tough. But I would say that Darwin is a good one in Kansas City. They have a couple players there fighting for the backup job, and I think you scoop up that Kansas City backup crew, even if you draft both rookies, you're setting yourself up for, if you have that deep of a roster, for a very sneaky situation, because Damian Williams could get hurt. He's never had the workload he's about to get, so breaking down isn't a crazy thought. So consider scooping up that crew. Yeah. Okay, James, get over on Instagram. James, I could tell you're active. You're awesome. We need you over there. And what I'm going to do is pick about 10 or less or maybe more, like soldiers. Like this is, it's called Fantasy Football Throne. Let me also put that handle up. So I created this Instagram handle, Fantasy Football Throne. You're going to want to follow that and my @the Fantasy Football Show. Fantasy Football Throne is basically like a Game of Thrones for fantasy football expert channels. You guys are our subjects, our followers, our knights, our generals, whatever you want to tag yourself as in the community. Good, James. Follow both and get ready for an awesome draft. We should draft in like early June, maybe mid-June, so it's coming up really fast. I'm ironing the details. We have prizes to give away. I already have like $500 worth of Bluetooth speakers that we're going to give out to people, maybe some of it during the draft, and then the winning community is going to get a chance to win a prize. And yeah, we can't give it to everybody, but we'll raffle it off or give it away or figure out how we're going to vote it away to people inside the winning community. So it's going to be one of the most interactive leagues we've ever seen on Instagram or anywhere in the fantasy football world. It's crazy. It's got Matthew Berry commenting and stuff on it, so it's awesome. Who again is a class act, in my opinion. And the fantasy footballers reached out after I reached out to them to be in the league, and they politely declined but thought it was a great idea, had some very, very nice things to say about the league. So mad respect to the fantasy footballers. for getting back to me on it, and I think they wanted to do it, but it's a hard thing for some of these other bigger sites, especially like an ESPN, to do that kind of thing. So I knew that. I wasn't mad at them. I was just happy enough to get them to reply. Follower, Hayes? Viewers, listeners, subscribers, audience, me, no follower, haha. I don't understand. Not sure what you mean. So, can't wait for that league. What up, Roger? Roger in the hizzy. About to jump. I was just going to do a quick sleeper Todd Gurley update. Talk about James Conner and the fact that news came out today that they're looking at more of a running back by committee in Pittsburgh in 2019, as I predicted. And that news, as I mentioned, would plummet Conner's value. We'll see how much this does, but it might make him more of an acceptable risk. We will find out. Yeah, I'm assuming, Hayes, that you're not a fan of the show or something. So I think that's what you're saying. Well, I still appreciate everybody that comes and stops in. So not everybody's gonna like every show out there, but glad you guys joined me. Can't thank you enough for all the support. We were growing so fast, and it's gonna be awesome. So appreciate all of you. Thank you for stopping by. If you guys have any questions, I'm still here. We got 30 plus people in the room here. Would love to answer a few last questions if you guys got one. 2 running back set in Pittsburgh, agreed. I think that's what they're rolling with. Conner will probably get the keys to the lineup. We'll have most likely Jalen Samuels and Benny Snell getting a dose of, especially Samuels, because he's the better wide receiver than Conner. And he's definitely going to be used all over the field by the running backs coach who coached him at NC State. Big rapport between Samuels and the running backs coach in Pittsburgh. Hayes, you said, oh no, not a fan of the term follower, brother. Well, I meant no disrespect for it. Listener, follower, a teammate in this example, because you guys are drafting my team. You guys are like my soldiers going to war in a fantasy football battle. I don't know, Hayes. I'm not. How am I trying to be, nothing but respectful to everybody here? So I'm not sure what you mean. I'm your guy, man. If you want me to be, I'm here to working for you, cranking out content. So Josh Allen takes a huge step forward this season. Says, let me put that comment up. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. I appreciate it. I'm sure that one downvote was from Hayes. But, you can't please everybody. Josh Allen, top 8. Could be. He's such a good running quarterback. He could get hurt. But, what's the deal with Cohen, Montgomery? They'll have Davis, who I think gets 100 carries. Roger, that's a great question. I'm not super sold that Davis is going to have a huge role yet. I think he could. I think Cohen gets his. I think Cohen is definitely the kind of guy that's going to do. Well, Hayes, if you like that better, give me that thumbs up instead of the thumbs down. I'm here, man, answering your questions, working hard for you. I'd love to have you on Team Smitty, not against Team Smitty or General or teammates, whatever. However you want to refer to yourself and have me refer to you. I'm not some guy that thinks I have all these people that just follow me into the slaughter when I say the word follower. But there are those terms already in place, like on Instagram, you're called followers and whatnot. So it's not like I'm making up the term. But I appreciate you being here. I hope that I can turn your mind around that I'm here for you, man. So I don't know how else to say it other than I work for all of you and cranking out information. Josh Oliver is your sleeper fantasy troll. If I had to pick like an approach or a couple, let me toss out a couple sleepers that I must own in every league. So, or I'll toss out players. They don't have to be sleepers. These are all players that I feel like if I can, I will do whatever I can to get these players. Alvin Kamara. He's not a sleeper, but I've changed it. I'm tossing out every guy that I want to own in 2019, and the guys that I probably would own in every league, because I usually say don't put all your eggs in one basket with certain players, because if they get hurt, then all of your teams go down. Your whole season goes down. But there are a few players that I feel like I wouldn't be able to hold back from owning in every league if they fell to me in certain spots. Alvin Kamara is one of them. I think he's my 1.01, something a lot of people will have a problem with. I know everyone loves Gurley physically. He's the most talented running back in the NFL. But Alvin Kamara is so consistent, so hardworking, in a great offense that's built around him. He doesn't need to get all the carries. He shouldn't get all the carries. People talking about the fact that he's sharing time. He has back-to-back 1,500-plus yard seasons, back-to-back 13-plus TD seasons, 15 to 18 total touchdown potential every year. And he has 81 receptions in both of his first 2 seasons in the NFL. He is the definition of consistency. So I want to own him in every league. I want to own Pat Mahomes in every league. I don't care about Tyreek Hill playing or not playing. Of course, I want him to play if I own Pat Mahomes, but not having Tyreek Hill there or having him out a big grip of games, or the doubt or the concern that Hill might be out if you're drafting Mahomes, it drives his value down. Mahomes, to me, is going to throw for 40 TDs no matter what. Question here from Sand Beach. Hey, Smitty, question please. How would you attack an auction draft with $200 0.5 PPR? I'll tell you right now, my favorite approach, Sand, is not an approach for everybody. But my favorite approach in an auction is to go running back, getting one of Zeke Elliott, or getting 2 of Zeke Elliott, Kamara, Barkley, and McCaffrey. So if you get 2 of those players, and then if you can still somehow manage to get a Pat Mahomes or an Aaron Rodgers or Baker Mayfield or Andrew Luck, one of those 4 QBs with Zeke Elliott and Alvin Kamara, and then go wide receiver sleeper shopping and go running back sleeper shopping. Get yourself a bunch of Darrell Henderson, Kareem Hunt, Jalen Samuel and Snell pair duo type running backs. Stack up on if you can get a Ridley or a Boyd somehow still with the money that you have left, if you have any money left at all. But that 3-headed monster, I love that approach in 2019. It's not for everybody. It makes you work hard. You have to land your sleepers. You have to have a lot of fun and expect to have not have starters handed to you. You have to go find them. You have to land your sleepers. That's one of my favorite approaches in 2019. In an auction, I also love going wide receiver, Pat Mahomes. So same concept, but instead of a 3-headed monster, you're going to technically go with a 4-headed. And the third wide receiver oftentimes can be Antonio Brown. So you can have yourself a Michael Thomas and a Devontae Adams, or a DeAndre Hopkins and a Devontae Adams, and then get Antonio Brown, then get Patrick Mahomes, and load up on your sleeper running backs. That's one of my favorite approaches in 2019, and it's an approach that people hate or they love. You're either the kind of guy that wants to draft your team and not stress at night, and you lose sleep if you don't have a good number 2 running back, and you let people that make fun of your running backs influence you, and you make a bad trade away your Mike Thomas for a running back that you don't even like because you don't have running backs. If that's you, if that's going to upset you after you come out of your draft. And I've advised people to do this approach, and then they email me halfway through freaking out because they have no running backs. This is the plan you picked. This is the plan you went to battle with. You have to expect that. You have to work hard to win with both of these, but those are my 2 favorite auction strategies in 2019, and I love them. We'll find out, Fantasy Troll, who the handcuff is to Zeke. Right now, I don't think we really have. We can speculate, but we got to find out if Weber's healthy, all of that. Let me see if I can get rid of some of these comments. I can't thank you guys enough for the thumbs up. We have over 35 people in the room. Please thumb up. Really helps me. Really helps the show. Helps all of us. Any more questions before I go, guys? Larry's got one. Baker and Luck could be similar. Baker touchdown maker. I think Baker Mayfield is the 3rd ranked QB in 2019. You know what? Let's do a QB. You guys want to do QB rankings here? Let's do QB rankings real quick. We got over 30 plus people in the room. I need more thumbs up. 25 thumbs up. from this 22, and we'll do QB rankings right now. And I'll even put it up here on screen. 2019 quarterback rankings. Let's do it. Let's do it together. This will be like a group effort here. 2019, look at that. 24 thumbs up. We need one more thumbs up, and we're doing this. Don't forget to subscribe to me on Instagram at the Fantasy Football Show and Fantasy Football Throne. Okay, let's do it. Let's do some QB rankings. Who we got? We're going number 1, Pat Mahomes. Number 1, Pat Mahomes. Number 2. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. What makes AB... Let's see, hold on. Richard. What makes you think AB will succeed in Oakland when Martavis Bryant and Amari Cooper failed? Well, for one, it's a different coaching, different offense, different everything. I think that AB is... I mean, that question, I think, answers itself. AB is way better than Martavis Bryant, way better than Amari Cooper. I like Cooper a lot, but Antonio Brown is one of the best wide receivers to ever play the game. I think that he's still in his prime. He's shown no signs of decline. So for me, it's as simple as this guy is impossible to guard. Amari Cooper is nowhere near the same skill level in terms of getting open. He drops footballs all the time. Antonio Brown is a beast and shown no signs of decline, and I just can't wait to see Antonio Brown prove people wrong at second-round value. If he was getting drafted as a top 4 wide receiver, I'd be with you, Richard, in saying let's pump the brakes on expecting top 5 wide receiver numbers. But with Antonio Brown falling to second-round value, there's nothing but upside for Antonio Brown and very, very little risk, in my opinion. Richard, it's a good question, not talking toward you, just with you about it. And, man, I can't wait to see him prove people wrong. Pat Mahomes is the number 1 QB. I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers at number 2. I'm definitely listening to you guys if you guys want to go give me your input on this. Aaron Rodgers, number 2. Pretty easy call for me. Aaron Rodgers is going to get back to throwing touchdown passes, back to potentially 40 TD passes again, and get back to maybe even 42, 43 total TDs, which can win you a league at his 4th round value. So I'm absolutely loving his value. And if I don't take Pat Mahomes in the 3rd round in 2019 drafts, it's because I am waiting for Aaron Rodgers in the 4th, because I do love that approach as well. Jordan Nelson, who is retired. Ball is life. Are you saying you like Antonio Brown? Mahomes, Luck, Baker, Rodgers, Watson is what you're saying. I might put your comment on screen in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and put Baker Mayfield at 3. I know that's a little early for a lot of people, but that's how I roll. It's calculated. It's bold, but it's calculated. And that offense is loaded. And Baker Mayfield, to me, is going to crank out top 3 numbers. Just like I said about Pat Mahomes last year. Pat Mahomes was my top 1 to 5, not just top 5. I put 1 to 5 for 2019, and he sure enough was. I see a lot of the same similarities with talent, with situation, with Baker Mayfield, and I think we're looking at a top 3 QB in 2019. Andrew Luck is probably the clear-cut 3-4, so he does deserve a look at that spot. And I think this is still mad respect for Andrew Luck. I know a lot of people think that he needs to be number 3 or even number 2. Some people have him higher than that, but I think that's still a pretty respectable place for him. I know, Michael, you like Luck over Rodgers. I get it. That makes sense. There's an argument to be made for sure, but I think Baker is going to explode. Okay, so I kind of threw my own four up there, but let's walk through it together here for the remainder. All right, so I'm going to pull up some rankings here on sleeperu.com, which I recommend everybody get on over to sleeperu.com. I had one guy ask me if this set was real. I'm like, does this really look? A lot of times you see people, they do a green screen, and they have like literally that green screen halo around the whole. Like, I'm like, nope, this is real, man. I built this puppy. Got a marker board over here. Got the magnet board for mock drafting. We're ready to roll in 2019. I'm gonna make this the best fantasy football show, your show, on the internet, on YouTube. We are everywhere. Podcasts. We just got on iHeartRadio, which let me ring that bell. Just got on iHeartRadio. I ring that bell every subscriber I got during my live stream. Do you guys want me to live stream for 24 straight hours again? For those of you that are new to my channel, I live stream for 24 freaking straight hours. Without a break, I took like 4 bathroom breaks for like 1 minute each. I live streamed for 24 freaking straight hours. It was one of the most, emotionally, it was tough. Think about how many times you talked in front of somebody for like an hour straight. Imagine doing that for 24 hours, trying to remember, trying to come up with things to say, not have any like moments of not talking. I was like so mentally worn down after that, way more than I expected. But do you guys want me to do another 24-hour live stream? I'm going to do it a little differently this time so I don't go insane. But in August, I'll do 24 straight hour live stream. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that. Okay, who we going number 5? Watson? I think Watson. You guys agree? Watson? Deshaun Watson? Who's on board with Deshaun Watson at number 5? Number 5, Deshaun Watson. You guys like that? I know some of you want to see Andrew Luck higher. I realize that, but I myself have Baker third. But I'm going to listen to you guys for the rest of this. I know I forced forced Baker in that top 3, but I just want you guys to, I think, get a sense of where I see Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and Baker and Luck against the rest. I'd even say Watson has the ability to score with these guys, and I had him on my bold predictions last year. But I think we could almost put like a separate tier here and say that these guys are more capable of being the number 1. So I'll indent them as a tier. But that's kind of how I see it. So we got Watson there. We got 1 vote for Ryan at number 6, 1 vote for Big Ben. Drew Brees, I think, is in the mix. Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, I guess you could maybe consider. But Big Ben, are you guys thinking Ryan? Big Ben? Who do you want? Who is your number 6 QB in 2019? I want to make this a mixture of mine with the top 4, and then you guys helping me decide the rest. And move that up, make some space here. Baker, touchdown maker. Andrew Luck, Deshaun. 24 hours, my head would explode. Michael, you don't have a clue how insane I went. I wish you were watch it. It's on my. I mean, don't watch the whole thing, but Michael, just give it a click. Like look at the third clip, because YouTube makes you cut it up into 8-hour blocks. They don't let you live stream longer than 8 hours. So as soon as it reached 8 hours and ended, I had to close it and then immediately hit live again. So it is broken up. But go to the third stream, Michael, and just look at me. I'm like sleeping like in this chair. No, I didn't really sleep. I didn't sleep at all. But I mean, like I'm dead. Ryan, Breeze, Kyler Murray, Ryan, Ice, Russell Wilson. I think the consensus here is saying Ryan. I'm going to put Ryan up. Again, these are rankings by all of us, not by you guys. Not necessarily mine. So if you're watching or just coming in, this 5 through 10 are going to be from you guys, the teammates. Okay. Ryan, Wilson, Breeze. Wilson, Ryan, Breeze. I think we can all agree that that Russell Wilson and Breeze are next. Based on the comments, I'm going to say Russell Wilson. And then I could say pretty much with confidence, given the comments, you guys are going to like Drew Brees here. So number 8. There you have your top 8. Who do we want for 9? Who is number 9? Big Ben? I'm feeling Big Ben here. I think Big Ben's fallen pretty far. Number 9, Ben Roethlisberger. And then you guys want to get bold and put Kyler Murray here versus Newton, Goff, Cam. Yeah, I don't like Ryan that high. I'm more of like Ryan at 7 to 8 still kind of right there. But who wants? So we have Big Ben at 9. Who do we want at 10? Kyler Murray. We got 1 vote for Wentz, 1 vote for 2 votes for Wentz. Sand, what are you saying yes to? Hot take, you're saying top 10 or Murray. I'm liking Murray here, but I'm going with what you guys want. Winston, number 10. Man, this is a crazy mix of nobody's picking the same one. Got 2 Wentzes, though. Yeah, Cam, who knows what Cam's going to... We're going to find out about Cam. Let's go. You guys want to go Carson Wentz? Newton. YP saying Newton. Saying Murray. I kind of think Murray's a good choice here, but I'd be okay with Winston, Garoppolo. You know, this is like, maybe we can't even complete this because we have Wentz, Winston, Garoppolo, Goff, Kyler Murray, Phillip Rivers. I mean, Josh Allen could even deserve a look here. I know many either hate him or love him, but Wentz, we'll go Wentz. Everyone's voting Wentz. You, the people, you, the teammates, Carson Wentz is number 10, according to you, the people. Pretty cool looking top 10 there. I like it, guys. And then we have Kyler Murray, Winston, Garoppolo, Goff. A lot of names still left. It's a very deep QB pool, but that does not mean that I don't have Mahomes ahead of everybody or Rodgers right up there in Mayfield. To me, I don't care that it's a deep class. I still think, yeah, you can have an advantage of waiting on a QB. It's a very good approach. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying that it's wrong. What I say is wrong is when somebody says that taking Mahomes in the 3rd is wrong. It's just another approach. It's not wrong. My Mahomes and your 6th round and my 6th round wide receiver or 5th round wide receiver is going to be equivalent, I think, in a worst case scenario than your 3rd round player and then your 6th round QB. So it's a perspective thing. If you don't think Mahomes will throw for 45 TDs, then yeah, I wouldn't take him in the 3rd if I'm you. But I do think he'll throw that. So Mahomes is up there, despite how good and deep this QB pool is this year. Troll says Big Ben shouldn't be in there. They will be a run first team this year. I don't know. I mean, Troll, there's definitely a case to be made there. But, I think Juju makes them not miss too much of a beat. And they're going to be awesome on the ground, I agree. But they're going to have a lot of running, a lot of receiving from out of the backfield with Jalen Samuels. Samuels lined up all over the field. When do you take Mahomes in a super flex league? That's a good question. Top 5 if you're starting 2 QBs. No question about it. You know, you wouldn't be dumb to take him number 1 in a super flex. Okay, Smitty, 2 top 4 running backs and Luck or Mahomes. So 2 top 4 running backs and Luck or Mahomes in your starting auction. Well, Mahomes is my number 1 QB, so that's a pretty easy call. I think the cost won't be that much different. If it is, then maybe, yeah, you go with a Luck or a Mayfield. Mayfield might be cheaper than both of them. So if you run into a money problem after you buy both of your 2 top 4 QBs, that's when Baker steps in as your backup alternative strategy when you're looking at not being able to afford Mahomes maybe. because there's a scenario where you might not be able to. Stafford a bounce back? I don't think so, Michael, only because they're going to be running a lot more. They have that coaching staff is what made Marshawn Lynch back in Seattle. They're going to run, which is why Kerryon Johnson has so much appeal in 2019. I love Kerryon Johnson this year at the right value, which is like past fourth round or greater. I think Kerryon has a ton of upside, but they're going to throw a lot less. They'll still make Stafford, efficient enough. So is he like a 10 to 15 QB? Sure. But he's not going to have, I would say, a bounce back year to the effect of bumping any of these guys out because they will run. But Galladay should get his. Hawkinson's more of a blocking tight. I'm not saying he won't do well, but he's a blocking tight end. So that will come into play. He'll do a great job there. They're going to run a ton. I love Kerryon Johnson at the right value. All right, guys. Top 10 QBs right there. I'm going to wrap it up for today. That's an awesome little addition we did. You know what? I should have did that in the beginning. Maybe my next live, maybe tomorrow or the next day, we'll do top 10 running backs or top 10 wide receivers doing it this style. Do you guys like this style? I like the board. The board's fun, but do you guys think that this style might even be better? Thanks, Larry. Don't forget the thumbs up, says Larry, as you walk out the door and check out Sleeper U. Look at him being my advocate there. Larry, let me make that big. That's brains right there. That's big facts coming from Larry. Later, Troll. I like having you around, Troll. Keep showing up, man. And get on over to Sleeper U forums. It's free to register on the forum. We could use you on the forum, Troll. If you're not already there, are you already there? I forget. You are maybe a user already on the forum. Or a teammate. Sorry. Stafford sucks, says King. Do you normally live stream on certain times? YP, no. I live stream kind of at random. But I might do a live stream on Sunday mornings. Maybe Saturday night as well. But Sunday mornings will be easier for me to get content rather than produce something and then not have enough time for kickoff. If I live stream it, I don't got to do anything to it, but just hit go. And then after the fact, do a little SEO on it. Love the board and delivery with the viewers. Smitty, cheers, says Sand. Do you like this, though? Is this Sand, is this pretty much as good as the board? Because I think this one you can hear me a little better. I like both of them, but this is fun, too. Looks good in digital. The board causes you to have to move the camera around. Okay, so we'll try both. We'll do a little mixture of both on the next one. Look at this guy. Look at these advocates, man. You guys are awesome. Follow at the Fantasy Football Show on Instagram. That is fact as well. This sucker right here. Follow me on Instagram if you want to be a part of the biggest league ever on Instagram and maybe ever in social media. And I say biggest because every follower or teammate of each brand is drafting as a whole for that expert. So we have over 600, 700,000 total followers combined with all the 12 Instagram accounts. It's going to be the most exposure. So if you're posting on there, so many people are going to see your stuff. I'm going to send you guys as scouts and spies over to the other channels and come back and tell me who they're voting on picking or who they may have picked so we know who they like. It's going to be off the hook strategy that you can't even explain. You guys are in charge. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. So follow me on Instagram at the Fantasy Football Show, and let's get to it. 2019 Fantasy Football is underway. Subscribe, follow, and as always, get some at Sleeper U, the Fantasy Football Show on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. It's been a pleasure, guys. You guys are the best fans out there, by far. Best teammates ever. See you later. See you on the next one. Hit the like on your way out, guys. Says, man, you guys aren't letting me leave because you're just advocating, making me have to post this stuff on there. Sand says, on the way out, hit the like button. Appreciate it, guys. Later.